Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. You are welcome to Morning Spring today on Western Spring Television, the weekending edition of Thank God It's Friday. It's good to be back here. And, we thank God for life. We thank God for the opportunity, to wake up again and do what we do at this time, 7 a.m. every weekday. Is Morning Spring, where we look into critical issues in the public domain. Issues of public and national, sometimes subnational importance is what we look into on this program. And thank God, again, it's Friday. On this program, we look at the different pages, front pages, headlines from our major dailies to keep you informed and updated on what the developments are in this nation of ours, Nigeria, of good people, full of good people and great nation. Nigeria. This is a project for Nigeria that must never, that will never, that should never fail. You will have to mind my, you don't have to mind my voice this morning. But then thank God for good health. I'm back here. Femi Ojo is my name. And of course, I am ready. We are ready to give it, all it takes and take you all the way. As many things are available for us to unravel and unpack this morning. And the most recent of them, I think the biggest news in Nigeria is that INEC now has a substantive chairman. He was nominated a few weeks ago. He was confirmed like a week ago. And yesterday, the president has confirmed the nomination of Professor Joash, Ojo Amupito from, Kogi State, Ejumugbede in Kogi State of Nigeria. He succeeds Professor Mahmoud Yakubu Bauda a few weeks ago. Yesterday was the swearing in. We'll be talking about that. Not just that he has been sworn in. The president has given him more like, if he's in the military, you will hear marching orders now. The president has given him what looks like a marching order to say, I want an election that is, credible and has integrity, actually. So it's not just a wish or a will again or a mandate. The president has given him clear instructions. This is what I want from you. I nominated you. The Council of State confirmed you. Endorsed you. You were confirmed at the National Assembly, and now he has been sworn in. And the man has been talking himself and to say he is ready. Yesterday, he was at the INEC headquarters where he met with, the senior officials in that particular capacity, led by May Agbamuche, the most senior staffer in that particular commission, who Professor Ojo Amupito thanked very well. We'll look into that now. He has said he will get to, as they say, hit the ground running, and he knows that there is integrity gap that he has to fill, and everybody must work. He said he will seek to the welfare, of the staff because he expects so much from them. So he believes they have to be supported. They have to be well taken care of as well for everything to go on well, and for them to achieve their mandate, which is having a credible election. And he said he's going to speak to critical stakeholders because it's one thing for him, Joash Amupito, to have good intention, to have goodwill. The thing is, he's the chief umpire, but he won't work alone. He won't be the security official. He won't be the transport and the logistic official at the same time. He won't be everywhere at the same time, but then he needs to connect. How about the trust within? Those are some of the issues we're looking to today. And then bridging that gap, that widened and widening gap of trust between some sections of the society who believes 2027. Let's just see how it goes, especially with the political permutation now. Amupiton, in Yoruba language, has to do with history, has to do with story. And now the man has an opportunity to write whatever he wants. It's just like his name connotes, that the people will say, starting from yesterday, that he was sworn in as chairman. There's so many to be looked into as well. Earlier in the week was the story, just a recap of the week. Some issues that happened during the course of the week is that terrible issue of tanker explosion, I think in Niger State, where scores of people were roasted to death. And when it happens like this, we learn a tanker, fell and people were scooping fuel for the umpteenth time. How long shall we continue to do this in Nigeria? And we can easily blame the issue on poverty. Yeah, that's convenient to say it's poverty, because obviously poverty is palpable in Nigeria. Yes, the majority of the people are poor. Even under the last administration, it was said that 133 million of Nigeria are perpetually or multidimensionally poor. Now, many persons are falling into the poverty net because of the headline policies of the government, in which they said, yeah, this is more like the labor, woman in labor kind of pain. But, we have turned the corner. That's what the president said. Yes, we can still feel it. It's not in doubt that, yes, there is poverty in the land. But shall we, because on the altar of poverty, every time risk our life, put ourselves in the harm's way? The unfortunate incident is this. I'm not a naysayer. Neither am I a prophet of doom. I'm neither of the two. If it happens today, some persons will still go there and still do that. They were scooping fail. In fact, after the carnage, some of the videos I saw a generating set. That means somebody brought a generator to that place to come and scoop fuel, just because he or she wants to be a part of whatever they have seen as national cake or whatever cake, which has ended up to be a death thing for them. And you don't need to see the carcass of the remnants of those persons that were caught up in that particular thing. And of course, you can't recognize. So the flip side is this. There are so many persons that their family members would declare wanted, missing rather, would declare missing because they didn't see them return home. And maybe they have been caught up in that particular fire, burnt to death, because the kind of burning that happened in that place, those are the kind that you cannot recognize. So, inasmuch those persons will have been given or will be given a mass burial because you can't recognize anybody again. Yet their family will think maybe they went out and they didn't return. These are some of the issues. Can we understand? We agree that there is poverty, and poverty will make people do some things that ordinarily they will not do. That's a fact. But then putting yourself in the harm's way, because these are very flammable materials, talking about PMS, petrol. Can we please do better as a people and the moment these things happen, can we have emergency responders that will help in condoning them? Because some will say some Nigerians, or is in the image of the people and the personality, character of some persons to move mad anytime this thing happens. But when there are law enforcement officers who could quickly get into the scene, cordon off the area, use force, acceptable force, to force the people to stay away, maybe we will not have some of this, because some of those issues are systemic as well. These are some of the issues. But before the security and emergency responders will come, can we please have it in our mind that you stay away from things that could kill you? Because it's better, to be hopeful as a poor person than to lose it all in death. These are some of the issues that has happened during the course of the week. We took a quick break right now. You know what's coming next? Is newspapers headlines. Stay with us. You're welcome back, and the papers are in. Just like I said earlier, we'll start with the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper for today. Tinubu to Amukpito, make 2027 polls transparent, violence free. Tinubu to Amukpito, make 2027 polls transparent and violence free. So here's his word quoted for him by the man who nominated him. The number one, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. New INEC bill steps in, vows to restore voters' confidence. Tinubu advises on reforms. New INEC board steps in, vows to restore voters' confidence. And Tinubu advises on reforms. All right, there you go. The picture of the man and the high and the mighty political officials in the land. You have the new sheriff in town as far as elections are concerned in Nigeria, Professor Joash Ojoamukito, that's the INEC national chairman. All right, and Deputy Speaker, the House of Reps, Benjamin Kalu, the Vice President, Kashim Shettima. At the other end, you have the President, Bola Tinubu, the Senate President, Goswila Pabio, and of course, the governor of Kwara State and the chairman of the Governors Forum in Nigeria, Governor Abdul Razak, right there at the villa, at the swearing of Professor Joash Ojo Amopito, a professor of law from the University of Jos. By the way, yesterday, to show solidarity, his wife and children, definitely expected. They were there with him, but, need to say that his vice chancellor, while he was at uni, just followed him down there as well. That shows, comradeship and support. And I'm sure University of Jos will be very happy that one of their own is now the INEC chairman. He will wish him all the best. All right, moving on. Federal government launches nationwide crackdown on oil and goat smugglers. Federal government launches nationwide crackdown on oil and goat smugglers. Assailant shoot shawarma vendor dead in Lagos. Pardon me. Assailants shoot shawarma vendor dead in Lagos. Why? Terrible. An Anambra poll, INEC team arrives for mock accreditation. The election is just 3 weeks away, by the way. Anambra poll, INEC team arrives for mock accreditation. And that is the first, test for Professor Joash Ojo Amopito. Many persons will be expecting, okay, let's see what it will do now that Anambra election is just the first litmus test for him. Now, top strip, medical tourism spending falls 52% on that Tinubu. Interesting. Medical tourism spending falls 52% on that Tinubu CBN report, meaning people or medical tourism has fallen by 52%, meaning people are not traveling for medical, services. Medical care as they used to travel before on that Tinubu. Now, this needs to be investigated. Is it because our medical facilities have improved in Nigeria that people are choosing to stay in Nigeria, or because many persons are now broke? They can't travel as before, because that's one thing that many people would like to say. Is it because they don't have enough money in their pocket to go, on that particular or those kind of trips, or our medical facilities have improved in Nigeria, and we now have more people in our hospitals because these things need to be looked into. 52% reduction in medical tourism. Why? That's one thing. That's coming from a CBN report. All right, and wealth means nothing without a good name. The Sintin Adebuto. Wealth means nothing without a good name. The Sintin Adebuto is popularly known as Baba Ijebu, actually, and he celebrated his birthday recently by making, quite a monumental donation. I think at last, some of the things. All right, and he's saying wealth means nothing without a good name. By the way, the Holy Book or the Holy Bible says a good name is better than silver and gold. All right, and 2027, Jonathan faces mounting pressure to drop presidential bid. Again, 2027, Jonathan faces mounting pressure to drop a presidential bid. Okay, why? Who are those pressurizing? Good luck, Bailey Jonathan. The thing is, does he even have a presidential bid? Is he ready? Does he want to throw his hat into the ring? Or is it just speculations and speculations? All right, as they usually say, time shall tell. All right, away from the Punch newspaper, let's look at the nation for today. Transparency, credibility, integrity must define elections, says Tinubu. Transparency, credibility, integrity must define elections, says Tinubu. Three important keywords there. And with a rider, Amupito, Anambra poll would demonstrate INEC's high standard. All right, we wish him all the best. Now you can see the picture of the man where he was swearing, in the allegiance and to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as INEC boss, Professor Amupito, yesterday with the Holy Bible, the microphone, and of course, he swore to an oath. All right. Now, just at the top of that, you have this story in red, Anambra 2025. Anambra 2025. Voter apathy, a threat to founding fathers' legacies. Voter apathy, a threat to founding fathers' legacies. And I will end extortion of traders, transporters. Moghalu promises, I will end extortion of traders, transporters. Moghalu promises. And another writer says, police threaten to prosecute politicians who cover number plates. Police threaten to prosecute politicians who cover number plates. And top strip, consensus chair bid, PDP split over ex-minister Turaki. Consensus chair bid, PDP split over ex-minister Turaki. That's Tanimu Turaki there. It seems the northern bloc of the hierarchy of the PDP has settled for the former minister Tanimu Turaki, but it seems there is another bloc who feel, opposed to that particular move of the northern PDP bloc. All right. Now, EFCC backs student loan consumer credit with 100 billion naira. EFCC backs student loan consumer credit with 100 billion naira. That's quite interesting. 100 billion naira from EFCC. Where did... Okay, do they have that kind of a budget to back, such an initiative? The student loan, the consumer credit with 100 billion naira. Or does that mean if actually they seized the monies, from corrupt politicians and loot and all of those things, does the law allow them to keep a part of the loot and administer it as they wish? That's the question. Can they administer funds on their own unilaterally without repatriating such funds back to a particular account, that is single treasury account or any account, for disbursement or for administration by the federal government or any agency, that has that statute? Or can they, because I'm wondering, where can EFCC get 100 billion naira? I'm not sure their budget in a year, it's even more than that. I'm not sure, actually. I stand to be corrected. But they, according to this report from the nation, saying EFCC is backing student loan and consumer credit with 100. Excuse me, am I reading it well? Yeah, 100 billion naira. There you go. You have it on your screen. Interesting. All right. But then if you want the detail of that, as they say, get more than the headlines sometimes, is on news page 3. All right, away from that. Ayedatiwa in Akungba Akoko after truck crash kills 8. All right. Ayedatiwa in Akungba Akoko after truck crash kills 8. And I'd like to just reminisce and talk on this, actually, because that particular incident in Akungba is one of many that has always been happening in that particular, especially around that area, not too far from the school, the Akungba. Is it the terrain? Some have said the way that place is built, sometimes the truck drivers lose, and most of the times it has to do with truck, actually. So either they lose their control or the brake fails or something, and it's one too many, which has claimed the lives of many persons, especially students of that particular school of Adekunle Ajasin University, Akungba Akoko. And the governor has been settled there. And that is not just by visitation, because I remember on this particular, program, we have talked about these severally. Whenever, in fact, it's almost synonymous that anytime you get to see Akungba University, Adekunle Ajasin University in the newspapers, your mind will just go to what has happened in that school again, not within the school. It's, somewhere outside of the school, and it has always been happening. How do we find a lasting solution to these? Would there be a redirection of traffic? Would that be a flyover? Would that be, 24-hour traffic wardens in that particular place? Would that be a speed limit? Would that be a speed breaker? will articulated vehicles be barred from plying those roads? If they are not plying those roads, will there be alternate roads for them to pass? Because this is one too many. Now, the nation is reporting 8 persons dead. It's not just about those that have died. How about people that, something will die in them because they have lost loved ones, especially in terrible circumstances? And how about those at a hospital bed in very severe pains and all of those things? I think the federal government, but very importantly, even if it's a federal road, the Ondo state government, that because that is it's still within Ondo, the governor should please do something. Now that he has visited Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa, please do something on that particular road. We don't want to be hearing, these kind of things. And it keeps occurring. Just like the moment you hear Otedola Bridge in the news, your mind will just fly to think what has happened again. Because most of the time, those places are synonymous with terrible crashes. And I believe we should, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we should be responsible enough to make sure that doesn't happen. If whatever needs to be given, even whatever needs to be given, especially, and I'm putting these on the doorstep of the Ondo State government. Many persons will not care. I don't personally care if it's a federal road or not, or it's a state road. This is within Ondo State. Some of the times it affects the students, most of the time students of the same Adekunle Ajasin University, the future of the country. We're not supposed to be losing them in that way. Some of the times they affect the artisans, the commuters, or those traders around that particular area. Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa, I know possibly if you see the video, please, not just by visiting, let there be an end to that by whatever means, legally speaking. We need more, whatever needs to be done, needs to be done. I would trust you to do that as the man committed to securing the lives and properties of the people in that particular place. All right, away from that, First Lady inaugurates digital learning centers in 10 states. First Lady inaugurates digital learning centers in 10 states. That's a good initiative from the First Lady. There are digital learning centers in 10 states. All right. And, bottom strip. It says SDP expels a national chair, Gabon, others. Big trouble in Little China. Here we go. SDP expels a national chair, Gabon, others. And police arrest Shore in Abuja. I said yesterday, the man was arrested. That's Omoyele Shore. And the police have given their reasons that yes, the video of his arrest, is up there in the public space and where, it was seen on the street as well, protesting. And the police walked up to him and said, he's been invited. Is he an arrest? I didn't call it an arrest. They say, the commissioner said, we should bring you. And the man, complied with them. And the police have said he is with them because he was the one who led that protest, earlier in the week while others have been arrested. He wasn't arrested. Now he was the one who took them there and now he's part of it. So here we go. As far as Shore is concerned. And, I think two episodes of this program was dedicated to talking about human rights, the line between expression of human rights, the right to protest and infringement on the rule of law, in which the police said they got a court order to say there are some places that protesters should not go because of protection of critical infrastructures. And they made an attempt to go there. And so they have contravened the law. Some of them were tear gassed. Arrests were made. The latest in that series of arrests was the former presidential candidate, Omoyele Shore. All right, away from that, Kanu sacks 5 SANs, others. Kanu sacks 5 SANs, others. With a rider, IPOP leader insists on self-representation. That's it. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the proscribed IPOP, the people, of Biafra, have said all his sons representing him, they should withdraw, and all of them have withdrew. He will represent himself in court. Well, it is his right. He's allowed in law as well. If he would choose to say, I'm representing myself. No, how far can he go with that? That's the thing. Is it an action of a desperate man, or a depressed man, or a man who feels his counsels haven't done justice he can hold the brief for himself. All right. And UK court dismisses P&ID's case on cost. UK court dismisses P&ID's case on cost. Remember P&ID, that particular company that almost ran Nigeria aground, made attempt in, in seizing critical asset of the nation by referring to an abridged contract between them and Nigeria through the oil and gas sector. You remember that he took the brilliance of some, Nigerian lawyers to save Nigeria from that evil plot in which some persons agreed to a particular venture, and because they deferred, that particular company said, they owe the A's and they will see some asset of the nation. The case went to court, I think in London or thereabout, and their case was thrown away. And in fact, they were even slammed and all of those things. Here, they are seeking a case on cost, but UK court has dismissed whatever case they think they have. All right, that'll be all from the Nation newspaper. And the Daily Trust is next. The Daily Trust newspaper. Boko Haram attacks communities in Borno and Yobe. With a rider, we killed over 50, injured 70 terrorists. That's coming from the military. Boko Haram attacks communities in Borno and Yobe. And there is a rider to that saying, we killed over 50 and injured 70 terrorists. Military. All right. And of course, you could see, all right, some of those things that we are saying where communities are still being attacked. But then it's good to know that the military is saying they killed at least 50 of them and injured many of them as well. My own take has always been, we shouldn't be repelling attacks alone. We should be taking the fight to these criminals. We don't wait for them to come into our communities or into our communities and then we repel them and neutralize them. Let's root them off. Let's snipe them off our lands. Whatever needs to be done, aerially, on land, through our waterways, so that they don't get to kill our people. Excuse me. And then we now get to go after them. But then we wish the military all the best and we commiserate with the families of those that have been attacked, their properties and lost possibly of loved ones in those attacks by these criminals, wicked souls, that's who they are, enemies of the state, enemies of the people, by every means and standard. All right, and below that you have the picture of the scene of a fire outbreak at Shiwaki Market in Giri local government area of Kano State on Wednesday. And you can see persons putting their hands on their head. Of course, you see the vehicle of firefighters and some of the officers battling that particular fire. A fire outbreak at Shiwaki Market rather, in Giri local government area in Kano State. That was on Wednesday. And under the headline, fire raises over 500 stalls in Kano Market. That's lost there. The major one. All right, and UK Supreme Court dismisses P&ID appeal, affirms Nigeria's £43 million award. They'd rather, pay us our money. That's it. And Kano sacks a legal team. Again, open self-defense, meaning he has done it before. He has opened self-defense for himself, representing himself. And Nigeria's borrowing pace can undermine fiscal stability. LCCR is a Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and they're saying Nigeria's borrowing pace can undermine fiscal, stability. And top strip, Tinubu swears in Amupiton, charges him on credible polls. Tinubu swears in Amupiton, charges him on credible polls, and NUC approves 13 new courses for varsities. NUC approves 13 new courses for varsities. I'm sure managers will be interested, to see what are these courses. All right, and lastly, after bandit attacks, Katsina communities struggle to rebuild. After bandit attacks, Katsina communities struggle to rebuild. These are still communities that are still trying to make peace deals with the same bandits who is running them aground. They are trying to seek peace with their oppressors, with their aggressors. These are some of the issues because they are helpless and they are struggling to rebuild. All right, so we hope we get, away from that particular, these kind of issues and instances, and move further forward in reality, in principle, and indeed, so that we are past these kind of issues of Quaram attacks, overrunning army checkpoints, army bases, communities, and all of these things to tell better stories. This will be the size of the headline segment this morning. We'll take a break right now. When we return, we speak about the huge task, at the desk of Professor Joash Ojo Amopiton. What can he do? How far can he go? How true can he make, some of these commitments that he has sworn about the constitution of our land to make happen? Stay with us.